All right, here we go. Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Spread. I'm going to be your host as always, Blake Helm. This is going to be the Dan Skirka Story Part 1. This is going to be a short feature of the Murray State coach, the Mike Martin Coach of the Year, the leader of this incredible Cinderella story team that made it all the way to the College World Series in 2025. A Murray State grad myself, this story is so near and dear to my heart. I've been trying to get a lot of these guys on to, get an idea of where their head and their heart was at going through this incredible one-of-one experience. We've already had Jonathan Hogart on. We've had Will Veerling on. We've got Carson Garner coming up. And then we've also got Dustin Mercer coming up here soon. But right now it's Dan Skirka. We're going to do a short feature on him now. This is going to be about 45 minutes. And then we're going to come back after the fall is over and do a much deeper look at his career, what all he's been through, deep into the questions. But I thought this would be a really cool time to get some perspective on him. His job never ends. Even with the College World Series, with the deep run into the summer, he's been at it all summer recruiting. There's been a turnover of almost 20 guys on the roster. So this is going to be 45 minutes, a couple highlights. We're going to hear from his three darlings, from the press conferences in the College World Series. Of course, this is Dustin Mercer, Carson Garner, Jonathan Hogart. So we hear clips from them about what Coach Skirka meant to them, why he is special, what he has done in that program, the culture he has created down there at Murray State to have this tiny school believing in themselves that they can go out there and not only play but beat all the giants, beat the Power 5 guys, and end up in the College World Series. So very special story for me. This is a very special man. I truly believe that there are special people in this world that end up in special places, and that is what Coach Skirka is. You can hear some of his absolute knowledge, pearls, just dropping bombs on us here throughout this whole thing. Special guy. Can't wait to get down there to the Murray State golf outing here in about a week or so. I'm sponsoring a hole, so we appreciate you. For those of you that don't know what this is the Post Game Spread. This is the podcast where our motto is a journey worth remembering, and we go back into a baseball player's career, his life, and kind of look at what he learned about himself, what he learned about life through baseball, the ultimate teacher. There's so much failure tied into it, so I think that's kind of what the whole premise of the show is. So here we go, guys. This is going to be the Dan Skirka Story, Part 1. I know you guys are going to enjoy that. Here we go. And now a few words from our sponsors. We are proud to be backed by Salvaggio Steel. Salvaggio Safe is their motto. These guys have been in business building rails for over 60 years, and they've always been incredible about putting money into the sports community, into the athletic community in the greater Springfield, Central Illinois area. And I'm absolutely honored that they felt like I had enough, like we were doing something special enough to be invested in. So they do it all. I mean, you guys can go look at them for, doing precision craftsmanship in many categories, including structural, miscellaneous, ornamental iron. They're AISC certified. These guys are just the best in the business. We really appreciate them. This deal was also brokered by good friend John Chisholm, who works there as well. So we appreciate Salvaggio Steel, Salvaggio Safe. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by Glisten Heating and Air. You can reach them at 217-341 or visit glistenheatingandair.com. That's GLISSON. This is owned and operated by Gibbs Gleason himself, a member of the 2000 Pleasant Plains baseball team that were state champs. That's the Dusty Bensko era, former guest. This guy's in the baseball community. He helps coach his son, who's in the local travel scene. This truly is the pros pro for HVAC in the area. I mean, this is a who's who of former pros that have used him. Let's talk about Corey Erickson, Jason Worth, Ryan Murphy, Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Brad Owens, Greg Morantz, Jason Washam, Eric Easley. His reviews speak for themselves. Call Glisten Heating and Air. They care about your air. We appreciate you. We are also brought to you by BOS, Bank of Springfield, and Jason Knadler. The Bank of Springfield has essentially a whole baseball team over there. I'm talking guys like Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Timmy Wallen, Eric Weaver, Ryan Murphy, Murph Mathiot, Frank Stefano, Greg Morantz. I trust every single one of these guys to handle my money and to steer me in the right direction financially. There are 3 locations across the greater Springfield area for your convenience. Bank boldly with BOS. We really appreciate you guys. Hey guys, before we get rolling, I want to say a special thank you to all my sponsors out there. I could not do this without them. I started this podcast about 2.5 years ago as a way to get back into the game on my own time, on my own terms, and it has grown beyond what I ever thought it could be. And I don't even know where it's going to keep going, but I'm following it. I'm riding this wave, but I couldn't keep going, couldn't keep doing this full time without the sponsors who put money into this, that breathe life into it, that believe in me. So I'm so deeply thankful to them. So I want to name them off. So thank you to Washco Strength and Speed, Body Symmetry, Sheehan and Sheehan Lawyers, Milner Dentistry, Bank of Springfield, Sitco Chiropractic, Glisten Heating and Air, Eric Easley, the Realtor, the Kaiser family. This is Ryan and Mandy. The Office Sports Bar and Grill, Hammers Radon Mitigation, BSN Sports, Cardinal Cleaning, The Crafted Stag, GT Performance Consulting, Grab a Java, Safe House Illinois, Nate Guernsey, the Realtor, Iron Palm Coffee, Salvaggio Steel, Clean Fuego, Timberback Company. These guys are incredible. Most of these are local entities to Central Illinois, Springfield, Illinois. Please use them. I mean, all of these guys are personal to me in some way. They have a connection either to the baseball community or the sports community in this area, Central Illinois. So they believe in me. I believe in them. Go see them if you need them, please. And thank you again. I really appreciate you guys. Post-game spread. Here we go. See all the cool Murray State stuff I have behind me here. I went out and actually got an official Racers jersey. I got so excited during you guys' run. I got my
How did you get that?
You can buy them online, and
Oh, no shit.
got my name on it and everything. Got a little too excited probably, but got my old hats, man. I got some Murray. I got actually an old school Murray jersey behind me here, if you can see that one.
It's sweet.
Yeah, so
I don't
very
know if I've
excited to
seen
have
that
you
one.
on here, man. I know your job kind of never stops, so that you're able to give me a little bit of time here is incredible. I've just been wanting to hear kind of where you're at, where you're feeling after all this. So I'm going to do my little intro here, and we'll roll if that's cool with you.
Perfect.
We
Let's
got
do it.
about 45.
Got 45 minutes for you,
Beautiful,
baby.
man.
Got a
All
phone
right,
call
cool.
lined up at 9:45. So
All right, perfect. I'm ready to go. Here we go, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Spread. I'm going to be your host, as always, Blake Helm. Sitting across from me is Dan Skirka. I'm so excited about this one. Our motto has always been a journey worth remembering. We're going to do a short little profile on Coach Skirka, Dan, right now, and then after the fall, hopefully we can come back and do a little more in-depth dive on his baseball journey. But here I'm going to go through kind of some Coach Skirka stuff. So the 2025 Mike Martin Award winner, picked by the NCBWA, signifying the association's pick for National Coach of the Year, announced at Omaha, heading into his 8th year at Murray State now. Coaching career, from what I think I know, began at Grand Rapids Community College and then Wichita Baptist, and then you were an assistant at Murray State for a while before going on to Walter State before coming home. Like I said earlier, Coach Skirka's job never ends. The recruiting, building the roster, getting ready for the fall are all paramount right now. So we're going to do a short feature today and then roll on. The quote from The Sandlot, "Heroes get remembered, but legends never die," I feel like so much applies to this Murray State team, to you. You guys will forever be remembered in baseball history as this incredible Cinderella story. I went and got clips from Dustin Mercer, who is now with Archford Capital, Jonathan Hogart, who now with the Clearwater Threshers and the Phillies organization, and then also Carson Garner, now with the Glacier Range Riders and the Pioneer League. Those guys were incredible during your whole press stuff at in Omaha, and I thought I'd love to get some clips by them. All right, Coach, how are we doing, man? What's up?
I'm good. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Feeling
And
good?
and highlighting those other guys.
Yeah,
It's they're awesome and their story deserves to be told. So
absolutely.
appreciate it.
And I've already done the Jonathan Hogart story, and we pushed off the Carson Garner story a little bit because there was kind of a draft, kind of a snafu where he thought he was going to get picked, didn't quite happen. That's how baseball goes sometimes. So now he's out there doing it in indie ball. I'm sure this guy will ball out and eventually get his chance in affiliated, but we're going to end up doing his story in the fall, and then we're also going to do Mercer as well here coming up. So all those guys are special. I want to give a highlight to them. Me being a Murray State guy myself, played back in '07 and '08. So we'll go through some clips, but Coach, let me ask you one question before we get into some clips here. Murray State has always been known as a basketball school, always cracking the top 25, been to the tournament sometimes. Popeye Jones, John Morant. After what you guys just did, can it be in the conversation that we can start looking at Murray in a different way, that maybe we can think of Murray as a baseball school as well? Or do you have any thoughts on anything like that?
I think that, there's a lot of legends here that Murray has produced. I mean, when you say that, I also think, Alan Lawler and the rifle team are winning championships and
Yeah,
competing for national championships. Velvet Milkman with the women's golf team was phenomenal, and just, winning championships. I think every class she had won a championship. So you're saying every 4 years, to do that, that's amazing.
yeah,
Football's got a tradition here. I know it's been tough the last couple of years, but there's a lot of names and faces of guys moving on and so on and so forth. So, we're just trying to do our job, but the whole athletic department has at times, track's done a great job sending girls on to nationals and stuff. So it's neat. It's neat to you know people are focusing on baseball a little bit more than ever,
sure.
because of what our guys did this year. But across the board, man, the athletics have been killing it.
That's true. Well said. Giving credit to all the sports at Murray State. I love it. At the start of this year, Jonathan or Hogart talked about you guys kind of had a little bit of a rough fall, got knocked around a little bit by, was it either Eastern or Western Kentucky? Was it one of them?
Western Kentucky, yes,
Yeah,
sir.
and but could you have ever imagined that you were going to end up in the College World Series at the end of this year? Where you got anything there? I mean, crazy, right?
Well, and I've said it a few times. It kind of dates back to last season first. We last year we had 22 seniors, and we really
Wow.
thought, building off of, 2023 was our first year in the Missouri Valley. We finished on a high note in 2023.
Yeah,
We started 2-0 at the conference tournament. The guys were kind of feeling confident with playing in the league and that they belonged. And
sure.
then, 2024 we bring back 22 seniors, and just really confident. We won 37 regular season games,
Yeah,
second most in school history. We won 7 straight going into the tournament that year. And then it wasn't our year. We got to the tournament and
yeah,
had a tough one day, and we lost back-to-back games. And next thing you know, 2024 is over. And from there on, we ended up losing actually 28 players in total. So, last fall we brought in 28 newcomers. We brought in 3 new assistant coaches, which was
man.
just as tough,
Yeah,
as I brought back Steve, my pitching coach, but then
yeah,
the 3 other assistants on the offense and defensive side were brand new. Every drill was new. They didn't know where the keys used for what door, or how to,
crazy.
all the little things. And so it was a process. And
Yeah,
and to say last fall that we were dreaming of Omaha, and no shot. No
right.
shot. I mean, we were just trying to get better every single day, and the
Yeah,
players responded. We did.
hmm,
We played SEMO. We didn't do great.
yeah,
We didn't play awful. And then we turned around and played Western Kentucky, and it was awful. We didn't compete. We didn't show up,
right.
and they beat the brakes off us, and it was embarrassing. And I think I wouldn't say that was a turning point, but it was an awakening.
Yeah,
And our leaders led Hogart, Mercer, Garner. They didn't panic.
right.
They bought into the process. They kept leading, and we just got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, and really worked on the culture and what we were building.
Yeah.
And the process just kind of ironed itself out. And kudos to the guys, because it definitely could have been a downward spiral, but instead, they just strapped on and went to work.
Man, incredible answer. And you actually are leading me into another question that I think is interesting. Culture wise, you just said the word culture jumped out to me. You must be doing some pretty incredible things down there to have this team perform like they did, to believe in themselves, to be on the biggest stage and perform like they did. Can you speak to this? I mean, I remember watching these games and thinking, man, these moments feel huge, but these guys looked relaxed. They looked
Yeah.
confident. They looked like they belonged. Can you speak to what are you doing down there? Are there any themes or pillars or main things culturally that you are adamant about?
Well, when you talk about the competitive side, we do a lot of competitions. Everything we do in the fall is a competition. We
Okay.
we divide the team up into 4 battalions. We make sure there's pitchers and catchers and older guys and younger guys on each battalion. And then everything we do, we compete in our conditioning, at practice, individuals, academically. They're competing within those groups. So when they get on the stage in front of their teammates in the fall, continuously to try to perform. So,
Yeah.
and hopefully we're building that confidence that when the time comes, they'll be able to handle it, whether it's Ole Miss and 12,000 opposing fans or,
Man.
game 3 of a super regional at Duke.
Yeah.
We try to, obviously we can't simulate that in the
Replicate,
fall.
right? How do you replicate
But we
that?
can definitely put pressure on them, man.
Sure.
We do all kinds of weird competitions. We got them kicking field goals. We've gone out to the
Really?
golf course. We bowl, and then obviously the baseball stuff. Their bullpens,
Yeah.
throwing competitions, bunting competitions, BP,
Interesting.
inter squads, all that stuff. We're always competing, keeping score, tracking who wins, who loses. And I think it just gets them comfortable competing and
Mm.
focusing on what's important
Yeah.
and not the peripheral stuff, but just competing. So that part, I think it shows. I think we had 14 one-run wins this year.
Wow.
Um, they weren't afraid, from late inning stuff,
Yeah.
and they were confident in their ability to go out and perform. So,
Oh man.
and then culture, man, part of it is that, right?
Yeah.
Competing and rooting for each other.
Yeah.
But then we do a lot of things, man. I'm constantly having them at my house to eat, just hanging outside of baseball. We do player presentations in the fall that I think are huge.
Yeah.
They share their 6 H's, hometown, hardship, a highlight, how they got to Murray, a hero, and then either a honey or a homeboy, that kind of is their rock,
Yeah.
that they lean on, and to have these guys get up in front of the team, and they did a great job last year, and
Yeah.
you could kind of see them building that culture because they weren't afraid to share. They weren't afraid to get vulnerable in front of each other. A lot of emotions
Yeah.
in some of those meetings. But you see where guys come from,
Wow.
and you relate to them. And when you bring in 28 new guys and 3 new coaches, they form that bond pretty quick. And I think all that stuff goes into it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of
Man.
work for our coaches. It's a lot of work for the players because we
Hmm.
do go above and beyond. But obviously, for the 2025 season, it paid off. But I think you say that, and
Yeah.
Omaha's not the, it is obviously a destination, but it's about the journey with these guys. And the last few years, we've
Ooh.
had a ton of guys moving on and being successful, pro ball, jobs, promotions, getting married, becoming dads themselves. So
Yeah.
that's the awesome stuff.
Oh, Coach, that was so incredible. Let me commend you too on you've been sending out emails for years about guys that are graduating seniors that are no longer going to be playing baseball, but are hard workers, go getters. You believe in them, and you're sending out emails like, "Hey, is there anyone in this line of work that could help out that is a Murray State alum?" And I was always touched by that. I thought that is going so above and beyond as a head coach. I don't remember hearing any coaches doing things like that through my time, and I just commend you for that. That's incredible. And then also, where did you come up with these 6 H's? I think that is such an incredible idea to bring everyone together to make them a cohesive unit. That is an incredible idea. And all these guys spoke about it, how special it was, how much it meant to them as well.
Yeah, you know, I heard it years ago, and we did it once, and I think it was kind of new. It didn't have the same effect. And then Coach Prohm with the basketball team, actually, we did 5 H's the first time we did it, and then Coach Prohm with the basketball team, I think 2 years ago, did the 6, and I stole that from him. And
Okay.
then, and I think we had guys that were more receptive to it, and it always helps. I kick it off, I do mine, and I usually get emotional sharing some of my story and
Yeah.
with the guys, and same thing with the assistant coaches. And I think when we do that and set that example, and then we've had great leaders the last few years, so it just had a little different effect. I think this fall with this team. We plan to do it again this fall with the 21 newcomers and
Yeah.
19 returners that we
Nice.
got, but
Yeah.
and it may not have the same effect. But last year a lot of guys opened up, and some of the themes were crazy. Some of the hardships these
Sure.
guys have been through, dealing with loss of parents, of friends. A lot of guys were really close to grandparents, and I never really heard that before. And it was
Mhm.
just kind of a theme with this team, and their honey and homeboy was either grandma or grandpa, and,
Yeah.
and that was kind of wild to me. But it showed what special people we have that
Yeah.
care about their families and come from those those backgrounds, and I thought that kind of gave me a clue that, man, we might be able to do something special here if we can figure out the baseball side. I think we got great people. So
You absolutely do. And when I did the Jonathan Hogart story, he says something really profound in it when I asked him, do you think you could go to Coach Skirka if you had a problem that was outside of baseball? Could you go sit on his couch in his office? And he goes, I could go sit on his couch in his house. And I was like, man, that's cool to hear that you have a relationship like that. And they all talked about the balance that you have too. We'll get to that in a sec. But one thing I wanted to, all right, my next question, 'cause I want to get to some clips here, but I've got a picture here that I'm going to put up. Let's see if I can get this up.
uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
This picture. So they say a picture can say 1,000 words. This is one of the most incredible pictures I have ever seen when it comes to a celebration, to capturing a moment. Whoever got this picture, the photographer, is incredible. Do you have any words, any thoughts on it yourself? What is
Well,
going through your
yeah,
head at this moment?
thanks to Dr. Eaton. He's a a professor and I forget his title all, but he's worked on campus for years,
Uh-huh.
and he does this just for his love of the racers and his passion for capturing moments like this. And there's a lot of them, man. He's spoiled us. I know a lot of the parents were very thankful of all the shots that Dr. Eaton, provided and has shared, and his anticipation and
Man.
willingness. I know he got soaked right in the middle of
Yeah,
this
for sure.
Gatorade bath as well, and put all of his cameras at risk. But I mean, yeah, that was man, that was special. Just to on that ride was so much, pressure and anxiety and
Sure.
excitement. And then, finally at Duke, man, we let loose and enjoyed it. That was awesome.
I love this picture, man. Forever iconic.
Yeah.
Let's get into some clips here. I'd love to hear. Let's go with Dustin Mercer. What stands out here? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, buddy. What is special about Coach Skirka?
Uh-oh.
Go.
I think in terms of what Skirka does on the field as well as off, it really differentiates him from anyone I've been around. And that's not a knock to any coach I've ever had, but let's just start, off the field. He is the epitome of what you would want in a person. He is a God-fearing guy who he loves every single one of us as if we were his own.
Yeah.
And I think that personal connection that he has with each and every one of us really upgrades how we play on the field. When you feel that kind of love and appreciation from a coach, don't get me wrong, he can be hard on us a little bit, but you need that kick in the butt sometimes, and you need to hear some of that stuff. But he has a really good balance of being tough on us, but like I said, he cares for us, and you feel it, it. Even the way he kind of gets on you, you feel that it's all from a place of love.
That's so much easier to take when it's like that too, when you know what's behind it, right?
Yeah, and so talking to other guys that have played college at other places, he goes about things in a little bit different of a way. Like some of these guys I talked to said they had maybe 4 conversations all season with their head coach because he's kind of off to the side doing a lot of the back office stuff, which all that stuff's important, but Skirk's able to manage all that. And anytime I wanted extra swings, anytime I wanted just an ear to talk to, whether it's about baseball or not, he's there. His house is always open. I can always go by the house and just talk to him if I want to. So I think, and then baseball wise, sorry, he's just an awesome guy. So on the life side of things, I got on a tangent there. But in terms of baseball, if you watched our practices, he is hitting the fungos, and then say during our bunt stuff, he bunts the ball and starts running down the first baseline.
Really?
how many coaches do you see in college baseball running down to first? Exactly.
0,
So
my friend.
it kind of adds an energy to practice. He can, when he feels the vibe of practice getting a little low, he's really good about upping it. And because he brings the energy every day, and it's easy to bring the energy behind him when he's doing that for you.
Oh man! All right, that's our first clip. That guy is incredible. Such a great speaker.
Yeah.
Man, he's got some long clips, but I couldn't cut anything. He's just how well he speaks. couple of things that jumped out to me in that is the balance that all these guys talked about, the balance that you had of like, you're great at putting your arm around them when they need it, encouraging them when they need it, getting in their butt a little bit when they need it. But it always came from a good place. Can you speak at all to the balance that you've struck there? Or is that just a naturally occurring thing that you have?
Yeah, I tell guys that in the recruiting process, and I mean it, and that's it's rewarding and pretty neat to hear them talk about that after the fact, man. Like, I think that's what we're here for. I'm here to develop these guys
Yeah,
and do for them what coaches did for me, and when they
beautiful.
leave this program, I want them to be the best version of themselves. I truly mean that.
Yeah,
Sometimes it does mean give them a kick in the butt,
right.
but sometimes it means giving them a high five or a hug when they need that.
Yeah,
So. I don't know. I think just like Dusty said though, if you're not in the mix, I don't think you can do that.
yeah,
If I'm off to the side, if I'm
right.
I'm in the office, I hate being in the office. So anytime I can get out with these guys and talk to them, that's why I do this. So
Yeah,
and if you don't do it, you don't have a pulse of who needs what.
right.
If you're just the man behind the curtain, it's hard to really impact these guys, and it takes a lot, and it's a lot of energy. I'm getting
Sure.
older. I don't know if I can keep,
Are
doing
you
hard
40 now?
90s at
You
first,
40?
but yeah, I just turned 40
Yeah.
last May, so I don't know how many hard 90s I got left in me, but I'm gonna keep bringing whatever energy I got because it's the only way I know how to do it, and obviously the guys respond to it and respect it. So
Absolutely. These
pretty neat to
guys,
hear.
these guys absolutely adore you. It's very plain to see. All right, favorite memory, Dustin Mercer. Here we go. What is your favorite Skirka memory, or a couple of them that are
Oof.
your favorite?
I think one that kind of maybe a little recency bias here, but when we were in the regional, so what was our first game? Friday night. Ole Miss chooses the night game because I mean they wanted that environment to be rowdy, and it was.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's probably 10-ish minutes to first pitch. He's about to go out and do the mound or the plate meeting, and the crowd's all there. You can feel the energy. There's a
Sure.
tangible buzz in the crowd. It's loud. It's nerve wracking to say the least. But I kind of see him at the end of the bench just standing there, and I walk up to him, and I kind of just slap him on the shoulder, and I say, and I'm just kind of telling him like, this is it. Like this is what we've worked so hard for. Because
Mhm.
I mean, my class with Carson. Uh, and a couple other guys that were gone. I just feel like we were so close for so long.
Yeah,
And so we kind of took that moment in, at least from my perspective. We kind of just looked around and we took it all in. And for me, that just kind of meant a lot and it calmed my nerves because we were just in the moment enjoying the atmosphere instead of feeling its hostility towards us.
yeah.
Um, because
Beautiful.
it's what we worked so hard for and we
Yeah.
were there. So might as well win it. I mean, and so we kind of just took in the moment together, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Beautiful. You got anything, Coach?
Yeah, I remember that. I do. I mean, we did. We enjoyed it, and I
Yeah,
think that I think that gets lost in the process a lot of
yeah,
times in college athletics, the pressure that these guys are under
sure.
and the microscope and social media and just and wanting to do so well. There so
Yeah,
many baseball guys are perfectionists and I
absolutely,
think that's why so many guys do well beyond baseball because of once we
absolutely.
get locked in on something, man, we don't want failure
Hmm.
but that team last year, I mean, they enjoyed even with all the pressure, man, they were able to smile and embrace it. Even, we got we lost a few along the way and
Yeah,
they were still able to enjoy, the process
for
and
sure.
what we were doing and what we were in the middle of. And that's a perfect example of it from Dusty. Yep, it was pretty neat, pretty special moment.
Beautifully put. And shout out to these OG guys too that have been there for 4 years. No knock to guys that have transferred in JUCO portal, but to have been a Murray State guy for 4 years, to have been through it. And I'm sure if you would have told these guys as freshmen, hey, you're going to be in the College World Series in 4 years, I don't know if they would have believed you. But pretty
Yeah, that's not
special
our
stuff,
recruiting
right?
pitch. That's for sure. But and they had I'm sure they had opportunities. They could have went elsewhere and played at a lot of different places,
Sure.
man. So yeah, I
But
mean,
that speaks to
appreciate
you
you
that they
pointing that
stayed.
out. And that's and they are special guys, and I'm so appreciative that they did stay.
Beautifully put. Last one. This is called Thank You.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, I told someone the other day, he changed my life. I mean, I was probably 2 weeks from hanging up the cleats for good when I was transferring out of Virginia Tech. I was just gonna go to an SEC school and do what everybody else does when I got that call. And actually, he texted me first. Um, this is Dan Skirka from Murray State. I was like, John Morant? But that's actually the reason, like, I kind of caught my eye and we hopped on a
Right.
call. And I could tell. So the minute we hopped on this Zoom call, it was me and my parents and him. Um, he's just infectious. His recruiting ability is top tier. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously,
Obviously, yeah.
but you can feel it's genuine. It's not a sales pitch. It's
Yeah.
not this, that, or the other. He's straight up with you, but he's just a really good dude, and you can't really fake that.
Right. True.
And I mean, he talks the talk, but he walks it as well. So, I mean, I would just tell him that he knows this. We've had this conversation. I thanked him before I headed out of town when we got back from the College World Series. I just thanked him for everything because, I
Yeah.
mean, I think he made me a better guy. He set me up for life, not just in baseball, obviously, because I've already hung him up, but I think he just set me up for what I'm going to deal with in the real world.
Yeah.
And that's what he's always preached about what he's trying to do. From day one, he's like, I'm not trying to get you guys. I mean, he's trying to get us better at baseball, but at the same time, he's trying to prepare us for life.
Yeah.
And baseball is very good at teaching you life lessons.
Absolutely, man.
I'm
The
not the
best.
best with failure, um, even
That's it.
even to this day, and
Yeah.
it's something we've worked through. But I
Sure.
would just thank him to the moon and back. I mean, nothing too sappy, but he changed
No.
my life for the better,
Right.
and he's an awesome guy, and I've looked up to him for years. So at some point, hopefully, I can return the favor.
Man, what a special clip. Imagine that guy almost walked away from baseball twice. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, the first one I didn't really know about in the recruiting process.
Sure.
Didn't know he was hanging him up. I just figured he was transferring out and
Yeah.
looking for a new place, and come to find that out years later. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, obviously special dude,
Yeah.
and just man, I'm lucky that he's thanked me twice. He hadn't had to do it at all, but he was about to hang him up. After the 24 season,
Yeah.
and came to my house and did the same thing, and
Man.
then obviously decided to come back, and I think all of Racer Nation is really glad
Right.
that he did. And,
Imagine if he didn't come back, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah, yep. So
Who knows?
just awesome.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Love that. Next one is going to be Carson Garner. What's special? Here we go.
Man, it's tough because like where do I even start? Like
Mhm.
he's so special, just who he is, just the way he cares for his players. It's truly a family at Murray State, and I think that's what makes us good and what makes us special as a program. And it starts with him. He sets the expectations and sets the bar high for us. And whether it's in baseball, whether it's in life, when you're starting your family, like you're always a part of the Murray State baseball family, no matter what. So just the way, like the best part about him is just who he is, and I think it's about time that he got the spotlight and
Yeah.
the nation got to see who he is,
Yeah.
because it was like I was checking social media and people are like, "Oh, I love this coach, like he's so awesome," and I'm like, he's been like that for 4 years.
Right.
He's been the same guy the whole time, same guy in the College World Series as he was, when we're playing a midweek in Murray, Kentucky. It's about time that he got his spotlight, and everybody just got to see like what a real college coach looks like. Because you hear those nightmare stories about guys where they go to a school and they don't fit with the coaches
Yeah.
and fall out of love with the game. But man, I'm so thankful, so blessed that I got it right on the first try, and then I got to spend 4 years with Coach Skirka, because he really is like he's like a father figure to all of us.
Yeah.
He's someone we can look up to, whether it's in our baseball careers or as a father or as a husband or teacher, whatever it is. He sets the example of how to be a good man, And I think that's why our program is so successful on the field and even after we're done playing. We got a bunch of guys in careers, and everybody's always looking for Murray State baseball graduates. So
Yeah.
lot of successful people coming out of that program, man.
That's man, pretty powerful words. What's it feel like to have your players talk about you in this kind of way, like a father figure, look up to you, all these amazing things? I mean, man, pretty powerful,
Well, one, I'm getting old.
right?
But, no, it's all good. It's all good.
That's
You know,
perfect.
powerful stuff, and I joke because man,
Man.
that's emotional stuff. That's
Yeah.
you just I
Yeah.
do. I pour into these guys, and
Yeah.
I've made a lot of mistakes.
You've made an
There's
impact, obviously.
but love those dudes, and just I think it just all goes back to just being so happy they got to experience this, and
Yep.
not just them, but the former teammates, the alumni,
Mhm.
so many people with this journey this year just fell back in love with the game, or got introduced to the game,
Yeah.
or got to experience something that they didn't get to as a player, and a lot of dads were out in Omaha for Father's Day, and I think
Yep.
that was neat, that they got to celebrate out there
For
and
sure.
do that. So a lot of great stories, man, and truly blessed with so many things, and those guys, and they made it easy. They're praising me here, but man, those guys were easy to coach. But best part of the day was getting out to practice
Yeah.
and pouring into those guys. It's not like it was pulling teeth to lead these guys. They've been fantastic. So the sentiments go both ways here.
Well said, Coach. This next one is called "Back of the Bus." Here we go. What's your
Back
favorite
in-
memory of Coach Skirka? You can give me a couple if you want.
Man, my favorite recent memories. I'll give you a couple because I don't think I can pick out one.
Sure.
It shows you who he is after we win on the postseason run. He would come back. Usually the coach sits in the very front of the bus in the captain's seat and stays up there. But he would come back to the back of the bus where all the players were, and he would hang out with us on the bus. He was just had some great fellowship back there, and me and Dusty sat in the very back, and he would come sit next to us, and we would just talk the whole ride home, just about how crazy this is and how blessed we are, and I think it just shows his character.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to break that that wall between coach and player. Like, he truly is a player's coach. So he might not think that we picked up on that, but we did, and it meant a lot to us. And then there was talking about his faith. Me and Hogart are really big on our faith.
Yeah.
So is he. He's been a very good spiritual leader on the team. So just all the post-game stuff that he did, glorifying God, the whole time. We have a chapel when we're on the road. He's always in there. Him and Kelsey are. Keegs is in there too. So, which brings me to my next part is, Keegs is always around, and I love it. He's every practice he's there.
Yeah.
We'll see him. We'll be out there practicing, and he'll get off of school and he'll come running down the hill with his baseball bag on, and we're all like, "Keegs, what's up, man?" So I think it's awesome that he brings his family in,
Yeah.
to us, and opens his family to us.
Sure.
So it really helps and create that family dynamic.
Man, beautiful. Man. These guys, Coach. Couple things that jump out to me. That you are a head coach and you went to the back of the bus is incredible. I've never seen a head coach do that and mix it up like that. That speaks volumes to you. And secondly, the whole nation got to hear a little bit about how your whole roster essentially showed up to Keegan's Little League game.
Yeah.
What did that mean to him? How cool was that for him? How cool was that to see
The
that
whole
for you?
community. This is the whole community. I mean, those dudes were rock stars, and
Yeah.
the bad part, I thought about it a couple times, is that school was out, so the 8,000, 9,000 students on campus, didn't get to be a part of
Right.
everything that those guys were doing. So I
Right.
think that's kind of the downside of
Right.
the College World Series, happening
middle
in
summer.
May and June after finals. But for them to show up to Little League Park, man, they took so many pictures and signed autographs, and those kids were, they were all afraid to go up to our guys, but that once a few did and a bunch did, and taking pictures and signing stuff and just talking about the run with dads and kids was awesome, but yeah, I mean, I didn't tell them they had to come. Didn't even, I don't even think I told them about the game. I think Keegan did. And then they were all texting me what field. I'm like, what do they? I didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what field he was playing at. To be honest with you, I had to figure out from my life just with everything going on. I'm like, I know he's at the Little League complex, but
What a gesture.
But no, I mean, so many of them showed up, and I mean, how busy we were. But it was awesome, man. It was just speaks volumes to their character, and they're like, man, he's at all our games supporting us. We got to support him, and I know he was nervous, but man, that was cool. Really cool.
That speaks volumes about the culture that you've created too. That these guys want to go and support you. That your son is so ingrained and kind of there that they wanted to go do something special for him because he probably just watches endless baseball. Being at practice and games and all this stuff. So for them to return it to him, I'm sure he will never forget that. What an incredible memory.
Very neat.
Moving on here, last one, Carson. What he meant to me. This is your chance to thank him, to say what he meant to you. If anything, just start rolling.
Know where to start. Coming out of high school, I was middle of COVID, so I didn't have many opportunities, and
right.
One guy gave me an opportunity, and that was Coach Skirka. And man, look what we did with it. I got a college degree now, played in the College World Series, and I got to play 4 years of baseball under the best coach in the country. So, man, Coach, just thank you so much, man. Just everything you've done for me on the baseball field, but also, just showing me how to be a man and how to find success in life. My recruiting pitch to Murray is that you'll learn how to win when you go to Murray. You might not have the best, the best stuff, best facilities, all that shiny stuff, but one thing you'll learn at Murray is how to win. There's a recipe to winning, and Coach Skirka has found it. So, but it's not just in baseball; it's in life. Look at our alumni; they're all successful. And that comes from him, man. He really shows. He's the example of a man and a husband and a wife and not a wife, a husband to a wife.
Sure.
And a father. And he showed me how to be that man. So I'm eternally grateful for him. I'm so thankful. I thank God every single day for sending me to Murray, Kentucky, although I didn't know why at the time. It's one of the best things that's ever happened to me, man, and it all goes to Coach Skirka.
You can hear it in his voice how special you are to him, man. It's got to be, I don't know. How are you feeling right now? Is this emotional for you at all to hear these kind of things, or what?
Yes, man, very much. Gonna be a tough day with all this on my mind, but it's good.
It's all beautiful,
It's good.
though.
It really is. Yeah, it is. It just is, man. It's just that's why you do it. I told you I'm in this to develop these guys and help them be the best versions of themselves and to play a part. Like I said, they're awesome. I ain't taking the credit for it. They're awesome. Their families have done a great job, and they're great human beings. So to have a chance to lead them for a few years and help them on their trajectory is special. So look forward to building our friendships, so on and so forth. So
All right. Look, we're gonna finish out our clips here. Jonathan Hogart, what wasn't special? Here we go.
What wasn't special? He just a great guy. I mean, great coach, great husband, great father, great role model. He's everything you want as a coach, everything you want as a friend, a mentor. You name it, he's that guy.
Yeah, love that.
And then let's finish up here with Hoagie. Favorite memory, and it's kind of two answers here.
What is your favorite memory of him, or memories if you got a couple?
My first year there, the talks we had in his office, I was struggling mentally coming back from injury, and he gave me the shoulder to lean on and gave me so much guidance that I'll take with me the rest of my career.
Man, I love that, dude. And then lastly, I don't know what kind of conversation you guys had at the end, but this is kind of an opportunity. I gave both these other guys this question to what did he mean to you? I don't know if you got that outro message with him, see you later, but what did he mean to you essentially?
Man, everything. I'm getting emotional thinking about it, but Man, I went and hit with him the first day of the draft, and just like that's a core memory that'll stick with me forever. Him coming up to me after I made the last out in Omaha, he, I mean, this telling me I'm a stud, still believing in him even though I did that. Man, he's just, it just means more than you could possibly imagine. He's just the best there possibly is, and he'll forever be in my Mount Rushmore of baseball.
That is a great line. The Mount Rushmore of your baseball, dude. That is lovely, dude.
Hoagie, and another career that you kind of saved in a way. Like he thought he was done coming out of Louisiana Tech with his shoulder injury, and you scooped him up, and now he's an All-American, hit 24, 25 dings for you guys. He was kind of the an incredible story the whole way through. You got anything on Hoagie?
It's just a great example. There's so many of them,
Yeah.
and he's a great example. I hopefully inspires other guys out there, man. Like, game's hard.
Yeah.
The game's hard. It'll life's hard.
Whew.
It'll beat you down, and to see him bounce back from an injury, and I mean, he was a JUCO All-American.
Right.
Should have been a draft pick that year, but turned it down to go to La Tech, and you just never know, man. You talk about being at the high and being one of the best players in the country, and then getting hurt and losing all that confidence, and that's life, and it'll beat you down, and
Yeah.
just to be a part of him bouncing back, and hopefully that does inspire others, in baseball, outside of baseball, that, man, don't give up, keep
Well
pushing,
said.
keep believing, and
Hmm.
you never know what can happen for sure.
Beautifully put. We've got a couple minutes left here. Let me rattle through a couple questions here.
Yeah, man.
Kind of one of so I made the trip to Omaha. It was absolutely incredible. One of one experience. I could have never imagined I was going to be at the College World Series rooting on the Racers. The kind of joke amongst everyone there was, "This is so incredible that we're here. Bye bye, Coach Skirka." The joke was, there is an SEC school out there with $3 million and a zero turn for you, and it's going to be hard for you to turn down. From what I've always known about you, you've said you love Murray, you want to be in Murray. You put your money where your mouth is, and you stayed, and you just re-signed. Can you speak to this? You obviously love Murray, and you want to be there. I'm so impressed that you did this. That you obviously could have had other opportunities out there. Can you speak to this at all, Coach?
Yeah, and that's kind of I talked to one of my buddies about it. I said, man, be honest with you, I got a little annoyed with the question because it just kept popping up, and
Sure.
like, you want to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and you see that with some other jobs and other situations with coaches, and man, I didn't think it was fair to our guys,
Right.
like, I don't want them worrying about me or my future. Like, I want them, focused on what's going on, and
Right.
and enjoying the ride, and at the same time competing. I think, we kept kind of talking about that, like, hey, this is unbelievable, but hey, we're here to win,
Yeah.
and ready to practice and ready to show up and take on UCLA and then Arkansas, and I think the guys were. So, that didn't get lost, but I didn't want it to be a distraction, and
Yeah.
unfortunately it was, and it was a hot topic, and that happens at mid majors. But no, man, we love Murray, man. It's a great place to raise a family.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can win, we can do special things here, and then you just hear about the people. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you've highlighted a few of those guys. I
Yeah.
mean, the other, the ones that have come and gone, and the guys we got returning this year. I'm fired up to coach them, man.
Yeah.
Miss Stoney's on campus already, and
Yeah.
I've seen Shuddy last week, and these dudes are awesome, and it's a hard place to leave. So, I'm very blessed, very, very blessed. Our
Yeah.
administration, Nico, and
Yeah.
the board of regents, and the new president, and man, just our family's very blessed. Murray's a special place,
It
and
is.
we love it, and
Yeah.
we're going to keep trying to do it right, and very, very happy that we're here.
I love that, man. Sorry if that was a question that you've asked or been
No,
answered too
it's just
much.
part of it. It is,
Sure.
but it's part of it, and
Yeah.
we've answered it, and it's all good.
Well,
But
we are all
just
appreciative.
Arkansas didn't have to answer that question when they're in Omaha, or
Well,
he's just
everyone at Murray
he gets,
State, all the alumni, everyone that's ever went to Murray State, thank you for staying, brother. You are doing incredible things there. We are so appreciative of you. This is just incredible. Let me get one last question in before I let you go here. What has your summer been like? I've been trying to leave you alone for the most part, but I know it's chaotic. Like, you got roster turnover, you're on recruiting trips, there's portal, there's all this crazy stuff. The job never ends, right?
Yeah, it's been different, and I think that's the thing, kind of uncharted territory. By the time we got done with our season, it was obviously later than any team I've been on, and but you still got a job to do as far as wrapping up the previous season
Sure.
and then preparing for the next one. And part of that included bringing in 21 players.
Wow.
I think when we were done at Omaha, I think we only had two commits, so we've added 19 players in the
Man.
last month and a half.
Yeah.
So my assistant coaches have done a fantastic job with that. You got to get guys housing. You got to get them applied to school. All those things. We got to
Yeah.
get equipment for this fall. We got to and we want to get better. We just met as a coaching staff on hey, what can we improve on?
Sure.
There's always areas to tinker and change, and what do we want to do that what made it successful, right? What do we got to continue? What do we want to adjust? You got to schedule fall games. You got to get with
Yeah.
strength coach and trainers, and the to-do list doesn't stop, but it's a great
Yeah.
problem to have. And I did get a little bit of time away with family, so that was
Beautiful.
that was awesome and needed. And now they're back in school, so I got a few days now. And our golf outing's coming up.
Hmm.
That's a big event for
Oh yeah.
for our alumni and programs. So. And we've done a couple other fundraisers, a couple other things. So man, it's all good, but it has been a whirlwind, and
Man.
at some point, I'll sit down and maybe get to relax and reflect upon what happened. But I'm excited to get back to work with these guys. That's why we're here. Like I
Yeah.
said, I want to get out of the office and get out on
For
the
sure.
field and start working on the 26 racers.
Beautiful, brother. And I so hope that we can, after this fall, sit down and do a little more thorough kind of talk through all this. And maybe you can,
Let's
like you
do it.
said, look back on it. But anyway, from the bottom of my heart,
Sure.
thank you so much for this time. Also,
Hey,
thank you
thanks
from
for having me,
every
man.
every Murray State Racer alum, Thoroughbred alum, everyone that's ever been to Murray State. Thank you for what you did for the school, for the program. You have lifted us up. There was a time when people didn't even know when I said I went to Murray State, they didn't know what that school was. I will never have to do that again. Not that that's important, but thank you so much. You're incredible. And I will see you at the Murray State golf outing. I'm very excited to
Sure,
be there.
bro.
I hope we have a huge turnout this year, brother.
Thanks, dude.
All right,
Appreciate you
man.
having me.
Have a
Take
great one,
care.
my man. We're out of here. Cool. Hey,